Saving New Mombasa could be the most important mission of the war. But why? What could be more important than that carrier? You can see the portal from the sky, so why is the legendary ending, Truth, under the Oni building? How is the Hollow Man connected to the glyphs? And what do they mean? Back in May, I made a video on Mendicant bias in Halo 3 ODST. Since then, there's been new discoveries made, as well as I'd like to make some corrections and expand upon the previous video. So, to recap, on August 21st, 2020, RocketSloth released a video on the Halo 3 ODST glyphs. The next day, Marty O'Donnell tweeted out a Super B, along with, "Is it time to unravel the mystery from the land of cactus?" 66 days later, Marty O'Donnell commented, "Weird," on a video from 2009. This video is about the reverse messages that exist in Halo 3 ODST. Now, I'd like to start off with the facts that we know. We have Marty O'Donnell's tweets as well as his YouTube comments. There was some comments from Joseph Stain in the official Xbox magazine, as well as some of his tweets. There was an article on Joseph Stain's comments about the cryptic text on the controller. And all of the glyphs existed during Halo 3 development. First is Marty O'Donnell's tweet, "Is it time to unravel the mystery from the land of cactus?" as well as "Still having fun, why?" with a capital Y. This is a reference to the T.S. Eliot poem, Hollow Man. Next is his comment on a video from 2009, which is a reverse message that is a quotation from the poem, Hollow Man. Next is a comment I found that was made before the RocketSloth video about the subliminal messaging in Halo 2 and 3. Marty's comment was, "Hidden important meanings in everything." In the official Xbox magazine, under 10 things you must try in Halo 3 ODST, number 5, if you stumble upon engineers hanging out without brute guards, turn on your vision mode to spot mysterious glyphs they graffitied on the walls. Creative director Joe Staten tells us, "These tell stories, not very clear-cut stories, but they represent the shape of Forerunner ships, etc." On the 10th year anniversary of ODST, Joseph Staten tweeted about bribing the lead engineer with late-night ice cream to free up scarce memory for just a few more ringing phones, flickering streetlights, and luminous Forerunner glyphs. On June 3rd, 2009, Engadget released an article saying, "At a press event last night, Bungie's Joseph Staten teased that the Halo 3 ODST controller's cryptic text should provide some clues into the mysteries of New Mombasa. If he did his job correctly," he said. A few months ago, I was watching the Halo 3 Vidoc trailer when I noticed the Halo 3 ODST glyphs appeared in the beginning of the trailer. They appear alongside a Forerunner language that was cut from Halo 3 development, along with another language that has previously never been decoded, and the triangle glyphs. We've always known about the regenerator symbol in Halo 3, but now this proves that all the glyphs were created before Halo 3 ODST's conception. So what part of Halo 3 connects to ODST? After all, ODST begins and ends during Halo 2. The one connection that I've found is the Halo 3 Iris campaign. The very first episode of Iris has a comic about the creation of a Forerunner structure on Earth, with the Iris glyph included in the final panels of construction. This comic was drawn by Ash Wood, the same person who drew Sadie's story from ODST. Later in Iris, Adjutant Reflex created a post titled Veins of Ice and Poison. This post contains a string which is almost identical to the Mendicant bias parts of the Halo 3 terminals, except for this one part. This unique string can be found only on the Halo 3 console and ODST controller. Now, the ODST controller contains a lot of text, so I'd like to go over that. First is Kikawani 0624, along with 23032830. This does not exist in-game or in any marketing material that I know of, except for this controller. Although I do believe the time is a reference to Dr. Endish's death. Next is QTA-XIIVI, along with 2 triangle symbols. QTA was the first image shown at PAX before Sadie's story. QTA is also present in Halo Reach on the Marine side leg panel, along with the triangles, which look similar to Shiva, which is also on Halo Reach. The J4 text is not found anywhere. Finally is Rogue Process Ghost, which is almost identical to the Halo 3 console, but not a copy. The rest of the text on the controller is reused from ODST cutscenes, none of which can be a reference to a specific ODST cutscene. Black Tower is the name of the track which contains the reversed messages in ODST and Halo 3. In Halo 3, this track is played 3 times. The first time is when you're on the Ark, going up the elevator to activate the 3rd pylon, before the cutscene where you see High Charity flying down to the Ark. The second is directly after that cutscene and stops after you go down the elevator. Third is on the level Cortana, in the room after you activate the Cortana terminal and before the pylon room. In ODST, it only plays during firefight at a random wave. Since I have started making this video, the Marty Army Discord has opened its doors and made a new channel, ODST Glyph Project. The comments Marty has made seem to surround Cortana, which makes sense since she is the one who uses quotes from T.S. Eliot poems, with Black Tower playing around her appearances in Halo 3. They went as far as dialogue that is still in the game on the level Cortana.
Oh, and your poet Eliot had it all wrong.
Now, according to Joe Staten's comments in the official Xbox magazine, it's only the engineers hanging out without brood guards that are in question. There are 3 places where this happens. District 8, the Super Halo area, District 6, Squidhenge, and District 3. The rest of the glyphs are merely to highlight points of interest for the player, though I believe District 4's Triple Super and the blank Ys near the Dead Elites cannot be dismissed. Recently, Joe Staten was answering questions about Halo. He was asked a question about how Halo 2 was supposed to end. His response was,
"In my basement, I found all the old storyboards for Halo 2, including the last level of the game, which was called Earth Arc. The short answer is the last level of Halo 2 contained many of the ideas that became Halo 3. Yeah, I think people have heard that story. But one of the key things that happened in that last level was that the Arbiter went into the Earth Arc and learned some essential things about the Forerunners, the place of the elites in the universe, and it was the closure of the Arbiter's, not story, but his cycle.
Perhaps this idea of the Arbiter learning Forerunner information on Earth Arc was the information that was more important than that carrier. So what do I think the glyphs mean? I believe they're ideas and content that was removed from Halo 2 and 3, so at least all the hours they put into the story weren't a complete waste. Also, they were really just
a patch we made early on for the team.
More than us to figure out. All they are is not very clear-cut stories of the Forerunners. Possibly information that would help stop the cycle of Hollow Men. Maybe Eliot was wrong. Marty O'Donnell has started making podcasts with old Bungie members recently. I hope he is able to bring Joe Staten on to help explain what the glyphs were really going to be used for in Halo 3. Now, for the sake of fun, I want to expand upon my Mendicant bias theory. In Halo Reach, there are radios that you can walk up to and listen to conversations. During one of the conversations, they talk about Cortana and her ability to be in multiple places at the same time, like a duplicate capable of independent action. If Mendicant is one of the most advanced Forerunner AI, it should be able to do the same. Let's say there wasn't just the Superintendent and Virgil, but a third AI. Just like the reverse message in the Mausoleum Suite and SOTA, Mendicant Bias was on Earth and had been helping the humans advance their technology. This information Virgil had received from the portal was a piece of Mendicant Bias. Since
it has access to the Covenant BattleNet?
Limited, but yes.
This piece of Mendicant is able to contact the piece of Mendicant on the Anodyne Spirit. After all, it's never seen after it goes through the portal on Earth. Then, using the engineer, Oni is able to locate the key ship and extract the shard that was lost, and heads over to Sandtrap, extracting Mendicant from its burial. The brutes were there because it has the same symbols that appear in the Prophet Hierarch's private quarters, their inner sanctum, where a voice very similar to the one in Black Tower plays. The brutes would have left because their great journey was never about freeing Mendicant Bias. Mendicant Bias, in the end, was able to help the humans live, for all it wanted was atonement. Even though RocketSloth's latest video on the glyphs has slowed down the discussion, for myself and a few others, the mystery is still alive. We feel this mystery isn't over until Joe Staten tells us what they were going to be used for in Halo 3.